Welcome to Beyond My Crisis. I'm your co-host, Ron Rossnick.
And I'm Vivian Gaspar, and we are extremely honored today to have with us all the way from Germany, Saskia Winkler. And Saskia is a certified coach and quantum healer. She quit her job as a German CEO to follow her dream to transform other people's lives. To live the life of her dreams, she gave up her old life. During this transformational process, she found out the truth about friendship. Yes. Welcome, Saskia. This is something that I think a lot of people can relate to. Perhaps they've had a friend betray them. And we're not just talking about childhood. We're talking about into adult life. Mm-hmm. So how is that something we can avoid or minimize?
Remember when Johnny Depp got divorced from his ex-wife Amber, and finally Vanessa Paradis, his former ex-wife, she wrote an open letter to the public and said this, what the ex-wife of Johnny Depp said could have never happened because I'm a real friend. And the way Amber just, said he has something, he did something wrong could have not be the truth. In that moment, I thought, this must be real friendship. Even though they've been together as a couple, they still are friends. So what I kept out of it, and also what I, learned out of my personal experience and from my experience as a coach, let your friends be the way they want to be and the way they are, no matter which development they're going through.
So we can't change other people. We have to accept people for who they are.
Yes, yes.
So that expectation is a source for disappointment.
Yes. Yeah, I can remember when, I did my transformative process the way who I am today, I lost quite a few friends because it was tough for them to see my own development.
Do you think perhaps they were envious of you because they didn't have the courage for themselves to transform into maybe what they really would like to be?
Yes. Yes.
Or they were fearful. They didn't want to see you taking the risk that they wouldn't themselves do.
I think I was more kind of a mirror to them. Like I was showing them their own problems without me by intention doing it.
I really think that envy deep down inside can be a cause of a lot of problems between different types of relationships. I mean, you could be envious of a spouse or in addition to a friend, right? Do you think that could be possible?
Yes. Yes.
How can we possibly relate to this? Common everyday people, how does this happen? I mean, so no one wants to be betrayed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Regardless of the relationship. And if it starts to happen, how do you know if you should cut them out of your life? How is this? How do you help people with this?
Well, first of all, my first advice is go and check your friendships. By the meaning of, do you always call them? Do you invest more energy in your friendships? Why are you their friend? Go and check it out. Maybe you don't call them for a couple of, weeks or hours and see what happens. Do you always have the feeling that you are paying the bills for your friends? And if you see they're not investing the same energy in the friendship as you do, I think it's time for good talk.
So good talk. Before you cut them off, you
Yes.
have a heart-to-heart conversation.
Yes. Me in person, I develop my own values. And I honestly speak them out to everyone I'm working with and everyone I'm in friendship with.
So when you say you lost friends,
Yes.
did you feel that the other people stopped talking to you? How did you lose them?
Because I didn't want to realize that they might not have been my best friends, because I was an easy friend. I was cooking for them, I was meeting up with them, I was calling them, asking them how they are. But actually, I was fearful of being alone without any friends. So I did everything to hold them in my life. So my recommendation would be, get over the fear of being alone and be who you really want to are, right? So show the world how beautiful you are, what powers you have, what skills you have.
So that's a great thought, is how do we become more authentic for ourselves and for other people around us?
Always try out the things you wanted to try out and do what you love and do more of it. And then you see your friends, like your good friends are like, hey, cool, I'm happy for you. They make you happy when you are happy. Yeah, they're happy for you. They're proud about yourself. When you meet each other and you can tell what you have done today, like I'm coming home being in my first TV show, I expect my friends, being there and like, oh yeah, Saskia, you're gonna make it. And the wrong friends, they're like, I don't know, maybe you look that good, so do you really want to do this? They scare you. So
Okay.
Do you think they're discouraging you because they're jealous?
there is kind of this jealous feeling, yeah, but at those times when I lost my friends, I didn't realize. I didn't want to see it.
Today, it seems easy for certain types of people to make new friends. I mean, there's so many websites like Meetup
Yeah.
and these meeting websites. What do you think about those to reestablish new friendships, quality friendships? How do you screen people? How do you evaluate and discern the new friends?
Well, first of all, I really think you should be aware of your own values. And in those moments where you start writing your own values down, I have 5 written down, your environment changes. And in that moment, you start attracting those people having the same values.
Give me an example of a value that you
I was just going to
aspire.
say that. I want
Yeah.
examples. I want
Okay,
to
you
know.
ask the question.
Yeah. my value is honesty, and that I always can tell what I feel and the emotion behind, that I do what I promise, and I promise what I do, and that I am spiritual, so I expect my friends to understand that I'm a spiritual person. And this is one of my most highest values. So if I cannot show anyone my spirituality or talk about it, or even though they are not spiritual, they might understand, that I'm interested in that, they're my real friends.
So wait, I think it just made me realize, would you be careful of a friend if they make you feel like you have to hold back and
Yes.
uncomfortable about, for example, if someone's not spiritual
Yeah.
and you are,
Yeah.
and you feel uncomfortable talking about it,
Yeah.
maybe that's not a good friend for you. There's warning signs.
Correct. Those
Because
are the
can you
friends I
really
love.
talk someone to changing? I mean, if you're going to say to a friend, look, you don't make me feel comfortable talking about spirituality, is that really something that's going to change? Because I also have had to either drop friends, or there's been a few friends that really stopped wanting to talk to me. So I understand that completely.
Or do you just compartmentalize the kinds of conversations you have? One group of friends, you don't talk politics. Another group, you don't talk spirituality. You talk music or business or
I
whatever.
think a real friend lets you talk about your experiences. I had friends knocking on my door trying to hold me back to do what I'm doing now.
Literally, they'd go to you
Literally,
and
they
try to
would-
talk you
yes.
out of it?
Yes.
An intervention, an anti-spiritual intervention.
And
group?
then because
Wow,
they
that's
kind
terrible.
of packed it in that way, like, oh, you have to be careful. Of course I have to be careful. But if they would have known me for so many years, they know that I'm curious, that I want to try everything out I can, and that I always, like a cat, land with my feet on the ground, right?
Right, because you have a positive framework for
Yes.
your sense of curiosity. Sometimes gets you in a corner, but you're willing to manage that, handle that.
Yeah.
So you're a resilient person. Not everyone is resilient.
And that was a tough way. That was really a tough experience.
You know, I've always heard this phrase that I think about a lot, where it says misery likes company.
Yeah.
But I think you can offshoot that to different things. I think people get nervous when they watch someone else reach out of their comfort level. And maybe it's not your comfort level. I think it's their comfort level.
That's
How's
actually
that?
the point. That's the point, because I was that what we were just talking, that I was their mirror. The people who hold back their spirituality, of course, they do the bad rumors about it. I was the same thing.
Right?
Wow.
The biggest challenge I think some people have, myself included, is how do we sever a romantic relationship that is becoming toxic?
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes people have a fear, I don't want to change, I don't know what my future is going to be like,
Yeah,
and they stay.
yeah. Because they are afraid of being alone.
Is
It's
that
the
a-
same in friendship.
Is that a root cause for many things? This underlying fear, is that a very common fear that you have
That's-
to help your clients with?
Yeah, that's the main course.
Fear of being alone.
It's in business, in friendship, and in romantic
So
partnership.
what's the best advice you could say to someone who has that fear?
It's after my opinion, fear is okay to have,
Oh, how?
but
There has to
find
be in the right
something.
context, right?
Yes, but find something more important than the fear.
What?
I hear acronyms about fear. False evidence appearing real.
Yes.
But what does that really mean?
Well,
It's an acronym.
Accept the fear
We-
to be there.
we believe something is going to happen, but it's really not the truth. We put it in our minds as the truth. Being alone is simply a thought that we have. It's not reality.
Yes. And the more you think, or the more you are afraid of being alone, the more you use friends.
Well, don't you give power to a thought by thinking about it more and more in a negative framework like that?
Yes, so switch your thoughts and work with affirmations every day.
Switch your thoughts and work with affirmations. So how do we kind of like become zen about that and get through this? What do you suggest? How do we switch our thoughts?
I use affirmations every minute I can. In the morning when I put on my makeup, I wrote my affirmations on my mirror where I see myself.
Wait, what's an affirmation?
It's like, I only attract loyal people. I have loyal friends. It's like a mantra you tell to yourself every day. You can write them down. You can put it everywhere you walk that you see it. When visualizing it, it gets reality. So in my flat, you everywhere you
in
can
your
read
apartment,
sentences.
you see little signs around
Everywhere.
it. Your mirror in your bathroom, you have little stickies or signs.
And there's contrarians that are going to say, so you're saying that to yourself, that doesn't mean it's real. But I also hear scientifically, the brain doesn't know what's true or false.
Yes.
So if you talk to your own little voice,
Yes.
it's going to believe whatever you say.
And we are trained to focus on the negative things, but we all forgot to focus on the positive things. So there must be a balance, right? So the negative things you see everywhere, you read in the newspaper, you turn on the TV, you read bad news, but where to read the good news? So if nobody's writing it, go and write your good news.
What's the best good news site or place you can get good news from?
The place where I can get it from?
Yeah, where do you get your good news?
I write them.
You
Yeah,
in my
write your
calendar.
own good news.
Yeah, of course. Every day I write 7 minutes in my journal, what I achieved that day and what positively happened in my life.
Wow, each
Yes.
day.
Every day.
I don't know how many people will do that.
It's
That
like,
sounds
it's like
interesting.
if you're going to the gym, you want to train a muscle, you need to train your brain.
So what else could someone write for 7 minutes? Because I heard there's a lot of power behind the number 7. So there has to be a reason why you do 7 minutes. Tell us about that.
Well, if you work with numbers, they have energetic frequencies, like two mobile phones. When they talk to each other, they send out frequencies, right? They exchange it. So every number has an energetic frequency. So 7 is kind of this wonderful frequency you can use. Like the number 1, that's perfect for wishes.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, what is number 2? Just curious. I always like the number 2.
I don't just remember, but I use number 1 a lot.
Okay. Is that because you want to be number 1 at something?
Of course.
At everything. So number 1 and number 7. Anything interesting about 8? I always hear 8 is infinity.
Yes, but you know, there's a Russian, I think a Russian clairvoyant guy, his name is Grabovich or something. He checked each number, and each number has a healing process behind. So I don't have them all in my mind. So yeah, you can check them up in the net.
So we talked about getting rid of friends, but how should you feel if you feel a friend pulling away from you, that you're the one being dropped? Should you let it bother you? Should you ask to talk to them? What do you do about that?
It's always related to your own behavior. So when, you know, everybody's telling you, you read it everywhere at the moment, your thoughts create reality. But I don't think it's only the thoughts, these are your feelings. So the feeling of being alone causes that the person you want to be close with is pulling back. So again, work with the fear of not, you know, being alone. Like, work with the mantras. I am in a happy relationship. I am not alone. Come over the fear, let it be there, and find something which is more important for you.
And also stepping outside of your own thought process to look at yourself from almost like a benevolent place to see how you're being, because sometimes people don't realize the way they really are coming off to other people.
Yes.
How do you check that? I mean, how do you know? Should you ask other people, by the way, what do you think of me? How do you know if you're coming off in an odd way to someone else that might repel people that you're not even aware of?
I am a fan of honest talks.
That's
and
so
I
easy.
always, and I know it's not easy, but if you really go and look for a conversation and you state what you think in a very friendly way, no one will judge you for that. And my experience is, like, if somebody does something to me, I know he does it not but per coincidence, but then I say, hey, look, I feel you're pulling back from me, and it does make me fearful. So please let me know, what can I improve?
So give your friend permission to give you constructive criticism. Don't
Yes.
wait for it to happen at some random moment like they're going to share it.
And be honest, and the most important thing, mention the emotion behind it, what it does to you. It makes me fearful.
Perfect.
Ah.
So it makes,
So
and
that's
it makes
the
me
most
fearful,
important
or
thing.
it makes me feel.
Yes.
So, okay.
It's like I have also in work, I have a wonderful assistant. And we were talking, actually, I thought from the same thing, but she misunderstood.
Oh, okay.
And a couple of years ago, I would have called her like, how could you not do this? And are you stupid or what? You know, kind of those thoughts. But then I approached her and I said, listen, I got that and that out of it. And it really made me thought you are not willing to do this. And in that moment, that conversation was open because I stated honestly my emotion behind it. And she said, oh, no, that was not my intention. We were just, you know, like having different opinions about it. And I understood it the correct way. And that's also one thing about leadership. Make your weakness to your strength.
How? Wait. I got to ask this. You
Yeah.
brought up an interesting concept about leadership.
Yes.
What do you mean by making a weakness a strength?
When you feel emotions behind someone else's behavior, mention your emotion.
So express it, communicate.
Yes.
And you've been a CEO for major
20 years.
corporate
20 years,
major
wow.
corporations. So you know how to communicate with people professionally. So now you're able to help and bring this to regular people on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're a coach right now.
Yes.
What type of clients do you see?
I started in business coaching because I thought I'm coming out of business. Then my own personal spiritual development began. And now I'm a life coach and quantum healer. So people, you know, like who want to have, for example, an open relationship or a normal relationship.
Wait. What do you mean by open relationship? I have to ask you to qualify that, please.
It is a concept talking about partnership. If you love somebody truly and honestly, and that one is, you know, states like, okay, I can be in a relationship, but I need to have other men or other women next beside you. So it is an open relationship concept. If you love somebody and you don't want to let them go, that you say, okay, we stay in that relationship, but you can have women or men next beside me.
And that works, you're saying?
That works because if you're so fearful of losing that person, and if you love that person so much, why not, right?
Otherwise, they'll do it covertly, behind your back, possibly.
Yes, and that's an honest way of a relationship, but it's actually not the honest, open relationship what bothers me, and I really think it's important to mention that here. It is a concept which is socially not accepted. I have so many people begging, you know, or asking me if I'm doing this open relationship thing, my family, my friends, they will start judging. I am afraid of telling them that I am actually living this.
I heard that there's Hollywood couples who are doing this, and it's coming out. First they say they have marital issues, and then it comes out they don't. They have an open relationship.
Yes. But friends and family, you know, they still live the old conservative way, and most people are not afraid of this open relationship thing. They're afraid of talking or stating that to other person.
How do you know if it's not for you as a couple, when this is not a good idea? Maybe it just the relationship should be repaired if there's an issue.
After my personal experience and the experience of my coaching, it depends what you're looking for. I am convinced that for every one of us, there's on earth a soul partner, where you then automatically start not thinking about any other person next to that one you're in a relationship with. But if you're just looking for a normal relationship, it can happen, right? And that's a wonderful point to become beyond betrayed, because then it's honest.
So now this leads us into, I think some people want an open relationship because you want someone else, or maybe that's a segue into almost getting away from the other person. You could end up feeling betrayed.
Yes.
So how do you prevent, in a general sense, feeling betrayed by a romantic partner? Because I think Ron started to ask about this before.
I think you really can't avoid this on your way to find your true partner.
How do you know when you have or haven't found your true partner? Because
You don't think of any other person and both sides. You automatically start just thinking and feeling for that person. But this is a long way to go. But for everyone here on earth, there's the soul partner thing.
I hear there's multiple. Is that true? Multiple people could be your soulmate.
Well, your soulmates help you on your way to find your true partner.
Oh, okay.
So how do you know when you have? I mean, if you're saying if that's all
You
the person
feel
think
it.
about it, but shouldn't that be any couple in love? So how do you know when that's the one versus
Yeah, I
just a
know.
normal situation when you're in love?
You immediately start feeling it. And the funny or the strange thing is you're connected. So you think one thought and the other part does it. And that's one of those signs you finally realize you found your soul partner. That is so interesting to see.
You also mentioned quantum healing.
Yes.
What is quantum healing?
Quantum healing is one of those tools explaining that you can work with spirituality or energy and help other people to achieve the life of their dreams, or that they need energy for their project. So me as a quantum healer, if my clients approach me and say, oh, I want to find my soul partner, or I want to have another relationship, I send them energy that they do the correct steps towards their healing. And I think behind each problem, there is a behavior. So if I change the behavior, the problem will disappear.
When you say healing, do you mean healing the body or healing the spirit?
It is both. Behind each pain of our body, there's a problem, and this problem has been caused by wrong behaviors. And also the problem in your life caused by wrong behavior. So it's the same concept.
What kind of behavior? I'm sorry.
You have keen insight then. You
Wow.
have a really great intuition, a connection
Yes.
to understand people, their spirit and how they behave. Can you do that with everybody? Is that just a natural gift you have, or have you developed this?
I was born with it.
Wow.
And when I was 7 years old, I was at the funeral of my grandfather. And I spoke to my grandfather. And I didn't know at that time that if I say this, other people will be surprised.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Wait, but you
So-
mean you spoke to him before the funeral or
No,
at the funeral?
At the funeral.
But he was over there and you're standing here.
And I told my parents, and of course they were kind of worrying what their daughter was doing there. And after that, I ended up in various hospitals, and people were doing
Wow.
surgeries with me.
Wow. Well, normally a parent would just see a little child say that, and they'll think, okay, it's their little made-up world that they just kind of have that communication. How
Yes.
does your experience differ from what so many children's fantasy thought
Yeah.
processes?
I was scared because I also saw it. In my children's room there were Russian soldiers running through, and I didn't know that this was a sign of my grandparents showing me how they disappeared. And I was really scared. So my blood pressure shot up, and I went pale, and I didn't know what it is because nobody could really find an explanation for my behaviors.
They didn't say, take some Xanax, you're having a panic attack.
Well, I ended up in hospital, and there were 20 students with their professor telling me that I'm neurotic. And they tried to give me medication.
Wow.
So as a child, I learned to keep my mouth shut.
Suppress it,
Yeah.
or at least externally.
Yeah.
So how do you help someone in this type of a coach? I mean, so many people think that there's not provability. Can you just give us a couple examples? Because I love this.
Yes.
I love that people don't pay enough attention to really their soul. They always think about it as just a religious sense.
Yes.
And this is more tangible than religion, right?
Yeah.
Nothing against religion. I just mean that this is just different.
Yeah. Well, in the moment they call me, or they enter the door, or they do a Skype session with me, their problem is showing up.
So Skype, you can read them just as well in person as on Skype?
Actually, I just need a name.
You just
Wow. You don't
Yeah.
even need to see them visually.
last name,
No.
middle name, social security number?
Nickname.
But I need to have the okay of that person. where-
Permission,
give you-
consent.
Yes.
Not just verbal consent, but energetic consent.
Yes.
Okay.
I need to feel, if I have a name, I'm immediately feeling if I can work with that guy or a woman or not, or a child. So, yeah.
Do you find that someone's blocking you? They might mentally say they want to help or give consent, but spiritually it's still blocked and closed?
Yes. And I would really, and I'm paying attention to this. I'm very high sensible. I can sense it if I'm, how far it can go.
So can you give us a few examples? I
Yes.
love this. This is amazing to
You
me.
wanna-
It's
you
like
wanna-
somebody,
You want to try it out on Vivian?
somebody's, somebody's coughing, right? So I get the yeah.
I just felt it was happening.
Wow.
A moment before you said
What are you
that.
doing?
I'm sorry. It's like it's always a sign that we're not expressing always what your thoughts are.
Have you felt
right?
suppressed?
I feel better right now. Thank you.
We're open.
Oh, let's
okay,
say
great.
back pain. I could help someone just from looking at the back, and I told them, okay, you have, you feel like you're still too small. You're not in your own power. There's some, and then I can see somebody holding him down, like, and that there was a thing going on in his childhood, and there was, I don't know, maybe a father's topic, whatever, and every time somebody is trying, or that child tried to express something, what he wants, that father kept holding him small.
So
right?
you're able to move back in their timeline
Yes.
to the source
Yes.
of what created this physicality problem or emotional problem, and then clear it.
Yes.
What about if someone was in an abusive relationship, maybe for a long time, or whatever situation, or had a traumatic incident happen to them, like a
Yes.
rape or an abuse? Are you able to help someone? Because
Yes.
maybe they're in a PTSD or something that holds them back in life from progressing.
Yes,
Is that
I-
something you can help with?
Yes, I open their heart again, but this always takes time. It's a slow process.
Well,
Yes,
abuse
I-
often takes time, so the
So
fix
Yes.
shouldn't be
You
quick.
open their heart to
Yeah.
someone that's fearful to let their heart open,
Yes.
but they still have to give you permission, but they're not sure what that's going to feel like.
Well, the only thing I really do as a person, I connect with the energy they need to get an open heart. And then it's a process, and energy healing or quantum healing is a process that you need to do the main part, right? My clients. So all I'm doing is I'm the door opener for the energy they need to open the heart again. So
Where
That's
can we
how-
understand and learn more about quantum healing?
yes.
Where, you have it on your website discussing this, or is there a place that they can learn?
You can check my website, and it's like you send me an email, or you check my website, and then you let me know your topic. I don't need to know everything, right? Even though I know it, but and then we work on it, and then you receive energy to do the correct steps. Like as you said, you need an example. I had a friend; she was betrayed from her business partner, and he promised her money. Right, and he let her down without money, and she has a startup company, so no money at all. So she called me, and I helped her, and I said, hey, no worries, I give you energy that you know that you can do this alone. And today, she did it alone, and the second day later, the bank called and gave her credit. So
Sounds like you have a lot of great success stories behind
Yes.
what you've done
or I
with great results.
help people getting into
Yeah.
their strength, because there are many people convincing you they're mentally stronger. So you don't come into your power and fight for something which is your right.
Wow.
And I support with the energy those people to get what they really want, that they're not being betrayed anymore. I make them mentally strong.
I love that
Fantastic,
you even
yeah.
give like an introductory situation where it's
So-
not out of reach. But Saskia, thank you so much, because we are completely amazed by what you have to offer. And
And
this
I
has
want to
been
learn
great.
more. Yeah, thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank
So
you.
they'll go to their website. Thank you so much, Saskia, for making it over to the set of Beyond My Crisis with Ron and Vivian.
Thank you for letting
Yeah,
me
thank
be
you.
here. Thank you.
So Saskia, I'm amazed at how you can help people remotely and at a distance. I'd love to hear anyone that's watching our episode to give us feedback if they communicate with you and let us know their experiences and how everything went. So
Wow,
I'd love
yes.
to see that
Yes.
happen. So I welcome our audience to email us and let us know.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
We'll do so.